I am so excited. So, if you know me, you know that although I have two daughters from my first marriage, it's been a long time since I was in conversation with them or communication with them. And of course, I would attract sessions with people that said they're in, non-communication with their daughters or with their children. And a lot of times the things that are coming out of my mouth to give them some solace and some peace is things that I need to hear. And my story for over 10 years was I love them. I know that I made some mistakes as a father. I'm a completely different person now, but I realize some of those things don't ever go away. But if there were a chance for them to come back in my life, I would completely welcome that, and I would just be beside myself with joy. And year after year of that. And there were some times when I tried to make some communication, but it just never seemed to work. And maybe there's also some fear of rejection on my part, so I didn't try hard enough. I just got contacted by my oldest daughter, and this is she's so awesome at this, being a catalyst for us to be back together. There was years ago when I hadn't talked to her for about 5 years, and she was going through some pretty hard times in her life, and the communication wasn't there. And then out of nowhere, she sent me a video on the phone of her new daughter, which means I'm a grandfather. And that was beautiful. And then we slipped out of non-communication again for over 10 years. And she just friended me on Facebook. And then I thought, what really stirred up in me is, gosh, I wonder if we have things to talk about. I wonder if we're so far apart that, was just going to be, wow, nice to know you kind of thing. I didn't know. A lot of fears were brought up inside me. But what happened was that she started the conversation, and God, I'm so astounded, amazed, in joy. I have so many ideas going through my head right now. One of them was, there's been a couple times in my life when I really wanted something to happen, but I didn't want to force it. I wanted to, come when they were ready. And when I let go, when I really let go, not just some spiritual story and something, well, I just keep my heart open, but inside I'm really, crushed inside. Just recently, I said, it feels like enough time has gone by that I don't know if I'm still her father, and I need to be okay with that. I need to realize that I have my own life and she has her life, and bless her. And it's time just to kind of not have that weigh me down at all. And when I completely let that go, that's when this all happened. And I'm just so excited that there's so many possibilities. There's so many things I want to tell her, so many things I want to hear from her. There's so many things I want to know about my grandchildren. And so much I want to show her where we live, and I want to know about what she's doing and about her husband and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just so excited, and I can't see myself talking about anything else right now except this, except my heart being totally blown away by my amazing daughter, who just, she has that heart where she's going to be the catalyst. She won't hold on forever. And she's stubborn like I am. She's got a lot of fire in her like I do. And there's a lot of similarities between us. And she looks more like her mother than she does me, but she's got my long toes. So there are some similarities, and it was so fun to, I mean, for an hour and a half on Facebook, just back and forth, passing photos and videos, and I think we just bogged down my computer with all the videos and photos that were coming through and be sent. And just to hear what she's involved in and see how the little similarities between her and I, what she's interested in, and how she's interested in what we're doing here, and she's seen the pictures of what we're involved in, and all this time she's been in my life. I've been in her life. I've been stalking her. She's been stalking me. But oh my gosh, I just want to share that with you. If you are in non-communication with your father, mother, daughter, son, someone really close to you, holding yourself in that, you can't get around the mistakes that you've made, or you can't get around the mistakes that they made. We're all doing the best that we can. We're all little children inside, just trying to love and be loved. And sometimes, like to say, we hurt the people that we love the most because they're so connected with us. And they can also push those buttons that go all the way back to our deepest pains. And we get stubborn, and we think that we've gotten beyond it. We don't need them in our life, but you could tell it does when we talk about it. We can try and fake it, but it's still there. It's still there inside. And it was really something talking to people about my daughters when we were in conversation or in a session or something. And it would be untruthful if I just said, I've done a lot of healing around it, and I've moved beyond it. The truth is that I have done a lot of work around it, and I've found a way to come out of guilt and live my life and be happy. And I still have strong emotions about not being in my daughter's life or her being in my life. It yanks at me every day. Every morning I wake up and I think about her. Every night I think about her. And you got to move on. You got to move on with your life, and you got to find a way to be happy and bless them and allow them to be who they're supposed to be. And if they decide to come into your life, awesome. And if they don't, you got to find a way to make peace with that and keep loving yourself. And that was my journey, is just to find ways to keep loving myself, even though it didn't look like it was going to happen. Although I have to admit, there's something deep inside of me that Brianna was going to be the one. My oldest daughter was going to be the one that brought it back together, and she'll do it when she feels when she feels it's right. And what happened was, her daughter, my granddaughter, was the catalyst for this. And I thought about this, like, what's going to happen when her daughter asks about her grandparents, and then that conversation is going to be a touchy conversation. And that's kind of what happened, is that the granddaughter was the catalyst for that reach out to be made. And her other daughter, my other granddaughter, was the other catalyst. Remember, she's part of that video, being born. So I bless that, and I am so thankful for that, and so grateful to hear about my daughter again and what's going on, and grandchildren and being grandparents. And wow, I'm so excited for that. And so I guess my recommendation, my advice would be, use this time. If you're not in communication, if there's something that's separating you two, some hurt or anguish or anything, use that time to love yourself. Use that time to find yourself and who you are, outside of any obligations or family or anyone. Find out who you are and find out ways to love yourself. And then when you're completely good with yourself, and that you're a safe place to be in, and then you'd be in a place of non-judgment, those people would be back in your life. And there's this idea that maybe there's someone in your life that was not nice to you or something, and you don't want them in your life because of how they were before. But who I was before, not a great person. I thought I was, but a lot of insecurities and a lot of manipulation. And there's some things that I didn't know about myself and how to heal. And so I caused some damage, I caused some pain. But I'm not that same person anymore. We all are, and we all change. So it may be, consider this, instead of you waiting for that other person to fix themselves, imagine that you could change yourself in such a way that you now live in the reality that that other person is a completely different person. Because I believe that's what happens. And that's kind of what my basis of my coaching is around, is that we change ourselves on the inside and the outside reflects that. But what our mind tells us to do is to wait for that person to fix their shit. And then maybe I'll, tiptoe my way into that. But that's not the way to do it. The way to do it is to find out what is going on and what is the deep thing that pulling within you that needs to be healed. And when we work on that, then I've seen that in multiple ways in my life. That when I work on those things and I look at my own insecurities, my own hurts, my own needs, and my reality changes. I mean, my life right now is completely different than it was yesterday. And I've just been lucky enough to have daughters that have a big heart and have a big forgiving heart. And so a lot of thankfulness and gratitude, and this really just changes a lot of things. And I just look forward to sharing her with you and my granddaughters and being with them and just spoiling them a little bit, a lot maybe. So my heart is completely full, and I just want to send that to you and maybe inspire you that you or someone that you know is dealing with something that I dealt with for over 10 years. And not to give up hope, but keeping your heart open, and any idea that says close your heart, release that. That's an old idea. That's for me was my insecurities around feeling rejected and not appreciated and that kind of stuff. But once you start to really look at those things and heal and integrate those things, they're not a part of your resistance, your energy field that keeps you distant from that person. And when we judge that person, so the more we put energy into how this person was in these negative ways, we keep them there. We keep them in this box. One of the things that I did a few years ago is my friend Kurt left me alone in a cave, like a 5x5 cave out in the desert with just water in a drum. And I did some ceremony out there. I had a little bit of a vision quest or a rite of passage. And I thought about all the people that I had in judgment, sometimes good judgment, any judgment. My wife, my kids, my exes, my brother, sister, everyone, Fauci, Biden, Trump, God, IRS, CDC, and myself. And all that judgment of putting people in boxes and thinking that I know them, I realized that they're only in those boxes because I'm in that box also. That what I judge about them is what I judge about myself. And I did this little ceremony, which was a combination of a word called wash day. Wash day is kind of like it's a good trade or it's beautiful, and you kind of waft your hand over and say, no, it's good. It's wash day. And then you combine that with ho'oponopono, which is Hawaiian. I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you. A modernized version of ho'oponopono. And I would say that to each person on my list. And for a moment, for I don't know how long, but for a moment, I was released of all my judgments from everyone. And it was a very liberating thing. And I feel like that little ceremony that I did was part of the catalyst to release my own judgment so that I could be in alignment with more love and forgiveness. So I hope that helps. I love you. Thank you. Bless you. And until next time.